What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying life today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Ford Bronco Wildtrak Sasquatch. Huge thank you to Matt Newman over at Koons Sterling Ford, located here in Sterling, Virginia, for allowing me to do this video for you guys today. If you are interested in this particular Bronco or any Ford product, I'll be sure to have Matt's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. It is 70 degrees here in late January and I am in a t-shirt. I mean, what more can a guy ask for, right? But just like usual, first we're going to talk about the exterior and the performance. So like I said, this is a 2024 Ford Bronco Wildtrak Sasquatch, and this particular one has been painted in the optional $995 Azure Gray Metallic. I wanted to preface this video by saying the Bronco sees no significant changes for the 2024 model year. So with that in mind, we're going to start up here at the top of our hood, because with the Wildtrak, you get a satin black hood graphic that says Wildtrak. You kind of get some mountainous terrain with the design. But let's say you like everything about the Wildtrak except for this hood graphic here. Well, you could run down to your local auto parts store, you could pick up a heat gun, and then you could spend, a couple hours picking this off, or maybe it might even take you like 20 minutes, and then it would be totally removed. So if you don't like it, this is removable because it's just a piece of vinyl. And then you also do get these hood tie downs on both sides of your hood. So let's say you tied a kayak down to right there. Well, you could tie it from here to there and then there to there. So basically it's more secure when you're driving down the road. Now, taking a step back, this being the Wildtrak, as standard, you get LED headlights with automatic high beams, as well as LED daytime running lights and LED turn signals. Now, also with the Wildtrak, you get a gloss black front grille with the white Bronco lettering, and that's a look at that. And then coming in just a little bit more, this particular vehicle has been optioned with the $2,930 high package, which gives you that forward-facing camera, and that forward-facing camera works with your 360-degree view camera system. Now, also included with that high package, you get 4 forward-facing sensors here on your front bumper. You may notice this piece right here. So that is the optional $300 brush guard, and that is what that looks like. So that does not come standard with the Sasquatch, but the heavy duty modular front bumper with the 2 integrated tow hooks does come standard. Take a listen. So this is made of metal. You get a tow hook here, you get a tow hook there, you also get a spot there and there. You could set some of those rigid spotlights. They look pretty sweet. I've seen them on a few Broncos and I think they look absolutely sick. So Ford makes that very easy to integrate some aftermarket lighting there, and then also on that side of your front bumper. And then I also wanted to mention, with the Wildtrak, you get a front skid plate, which is right here. But you do not get a full underbody skid plate, or you don't get full underbody skid plates as standard. If you wanted the full vehicle bash plates, that's going to run you $395. But in my personal opinion, I think that should come standard, especially considering how cheap it is, and especially considering this is a Sasquatch. I think you should get the full vehicle bash plates as standard. But moving on from there, with the Wildtrak Sasquatch, you get 11.5 inches of ground clearance. And then I also wanted to say, with this being the Sasquatch, you get an electronic locking front differential, and you also get the Haas 3.0 suspension with the Fox dampers. You also do get these high clearance satin black fender flares, as well as these 17-inch gloss black beadlock capable wheels that are wrapped in 35-inch Goodyear Territory MT tires. Here's a view of the wheel face and the sidewall of the tire, and then here is a view of the tread pattern on that tire. I'm going to give you a view of your Fox 3.0 suspension, or Haas 3.0 suspension down in there. By the way, if you've never driven one of these things drive insanely well, considering they're basically oriented for off-road use, but they drive so well on-road, and I'll get into that on the driving portion of the video. But on your front 2 fenders, you get your Wildtrak Sasquatch badging. And then working my way to our side view mirrors, you get satin black side mirrors with zone lighting. And as standard, these side view mirrors are heated, manual folding. You will find your blind spot monitoring on the upper left-hand side of your driver's side mirror, about right there. And then also on the upper right-hand side of your passenger side mirror. And then coming down to the bottom of your side mirror, right there, you have a puddle light, which is going to illuminate this area at night. Obviously, you get the same thing on the passenger side. And then again, this vehicle being optioned with the high package, you get a camera also on the bottom of your side view mirror, and that camera works with your 360-degree view camera system. The lighting's going to be pretty bad here because the sun just came out, but here's a little side profile shot of this thing. This vehicle's been optioned with the $1,895 carbonized gray hardtop. This would come standard with a black soft top, but this is all fully removable, so you do get 2 freedom tops up here that are very easy to take off. This back piece is just a little bit more cumbersome to take off, but the 2 front pieces are very, very easy to take off. By the way, this sounds way better when cruising down the highway. It's much better insulated than the soft top. So if you're going to be using this as a daily driver, I would recommend getting the hard top. But coming down just a little bit, you get satin black door handles with keyless access. Just keep in mind, the keyless access function is only on your front 2 door handles. The rear 2 door handles do not get the keyless access function. And then coming down all the way to the bottom of your passenger doors, this vehicle has also been optioned with the $395 removable hoop steps. So that is what these pieces are here. I'm not sure if this is a rock slider, but it kind of looks like a rock slider. I'm just not sure, you know, how strong it is against, let's say you high center yourself on a rock. I'm not sure how much protection this is really going to give you. But coming around back, you have your capless filler neck. And one thing that's pretty cool about these EcoBoost engines is that, yes, you can fill this thing up with 87 octane. However, let's say you put 93 octane in this, you're going to make some additional power and some additional torque. However, again, if you don't really care about the additional power, the additional torque, you can run 87 in this thing all day. And then you also get that cool little Easter egg with those 3 Broncos down in there. And it says established in 1966. Cool little Easter egg. And then coming around back, here's a rear 3/4 shot of what this thing looks like. So as standard, you do get LED taillights as well as a full-size spare. And at the center of your spare tire is where you will find your backup camera. Now, your front 2 door handles as well as this door handle back here, this also gets keyless access. So you can unlock and or lock the vehicle. So if you press that, that is going to lock the vehicle. If you put your hand behind here, the vehicle is going to unlock. Now, one thing about this rear door that is kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Cumbersome, not really the word, but maybe inconvenient. Let's say you're in a tight parking space, right? Like you're backed into a parking garage and you can only open it this much, but you need to open up this top piece, right? Well, you can't open up the top piece unless this thing is opened up to about like right there. Then you get access into opening this thing up all the way. But you can see, you know, that's like about 4 feet that it has to be opened up. So you have to have 4 feet behind you pretty much in order to get this top piece open. So just something I figured I'd point out. But you also get 2nd row folding seats, so you can fold that forward. You get an additional about 4.5 feet of storage space. You also get a 12-volt power outlet back here, a little bit of lighting. You get a bottle opener right here. I'm not sure how well that's going to pick up on camera, but you get a bottle opener. Again, it's located about right there on this side of that structural piece. And then lifting all of this stuff up, these are all of your accessories. I'll put the price of all these accessories on screen now. You get the floor mats, etc. But if you come underneath all of this stuff, right, you see this thing and you pull up on that, that's where you'll find your jack, a little bit of storage space, and you know, stuff like that. That's kind of about it for what we got going on back here. One other thing is, you can see this says accessory ready. You could put a table right here, so if you're camping, you could have a table. You could cut up your vegetables, you could cut up, you know, your meat, stuff like that. So that's a very cool little thing. An accessory is going to cost you additional money because you do not get that table as standard. I figured I may point that out. But closing this back up, you get a gloss black Bronco on the right hand side of that, I guess, tailgate is what you would call it. Then you get a satin black plastic rear bumper with 4 integrated parking sensors. You also get a tow hook on the driver's side of the rear bumper. This is where you'll put your license plate. And then a couple things that I wanted to mention. So this being the Wildtrak Sasquatch, you get a locking rear axle, you get a 470 final drive ratio, and you also get the Haas 3.0 suspension back here as well. And that kind of about does it for the exterior of the Wildtrak Sasquatch. Here's another rear 3/4 shot. So honestly, this thing is awesome. You know, you can take it off-road. It looks like an off-roader, but it behaves like an SUV. When you drive this thing down the street, yes, you can kind of tell that it is off-road oriented, but really for what it is, it handles on-road use very, very well. And again, you'll see that later on in this video. But first, let's talk about performance. Popping open that hood reveals that 2.7 liter EcoBoost V6 that makes 315 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque when running on regular fuel. However, if you filled this thing up with premium, you could see 330 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. Either way, it's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission for a 0 to 60 time in 6.2 seconds. And if you were wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 17 miles per gallon in the city, 17 miles per gallon on the highway for 17 miles per gallon combined with 4-wheel drive. Not the greatest fuel economy, however, what do you expect? It's an off-roader. But if you're enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. So if you're enjoying the video, please just take a second, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below, and hit that subscribe button. The likes and comments in particular look very good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, and that is what helps me grow. So I'd appreciate it if you do those 3 things, but only if you're enjoying the video. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into the interior. Moving on into the interior, like I mentioned earlier in the video, you do get keyless access. So all you have to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle, put your hand behind the door handle, and it will unlock. You can also lock it by pressing on this button right here, and now it is locked. You also do get remote start as standard. So all you have to do to remote start it is lock it, press this button twice, and it will fire right up. This being a Bronco, you do get removable doors, so with that in mind, the door panels are rather basic. So basically all you get is a padded armrest, you have your door handle, your unlock and your lock functions, and a little bit of mesh storage space at the bottom of the door panel. Let's say you set a pen down in here, the pen may fall out because, again, this is mesh. You do get power front seats. Both of the seats are also heated as standard, and you also do get these adjustable headrests that go forwards and backwards, which is very nice for long road trips, and the seats themselves are also very comfortable. But let's step on into the Bronco. You also get a nice little grab handle here if you can't see that. But now let's see what the rest of the interior of this has to offer. Take a listen to the door. That is what it sounds like when you close the door. Now I'm gonna come over here, and basically I'm just gonna walk you throughout all these interior controls. So coming down here, this is going to turn the perimeter lighting for the driver's side on. This is going to turn the perimeter lighting for the passenger side on. So it's basically like a spotlight on the outside of your mirror. I'll show you what that looks like on screen now. And then coming over to here, you have your headlight controls all the way down. That is headlights on. That is headlights automatic. That is parking lights on, and then that is headlights off. These buttons are to brighten and or dim your gauge cluster, as well as your backlit buttons. Then this is your electronic parking brake. You pull out on it to engage the parking brake, and you wanted to disengage it, you have to push your foot against the brake, push against this, and you can hear that it's disengaged. Now, coming over to here, you do get a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. So if I push that down, I can bring the steering wheel towards me. I can push the steering wheel away from me. You can see that. And then you can also move it up and down until you find your comfortable position. However, it's not like super like easy to pull and push against it. It's like quite a bit of resistance. So, you know, just keep that in mind. But now let's take a listen to the turn signal. That is what the turn signal sounds like. And not only is this your turn signal control stock, this is also your windshield wiper control stock. But zooming back out, you do get a leather wrapped steering wheel. And with this having the $2,930 high package, you get the heated steering wheel, and your heated steering wheel control is right here. You get one level of adjustability with that. And just like any other vehicle, you have your horn at the center. So let's take a listen. That is what the horn sounds like on the Bronco. Now, coming to the left-hand side of your steering wheel, also with the high package, you get adaptive cruise control. So these are your volume controls, obviously, down here. All of these other controls are basically for your lane keep assist, as well as basically your adaptive cruise control. Again, adaptive cruise control comes a part of the high package. And then coming over to this side of the steering wheel, if you press that, that is going to pick up and or hang up on a phone call. This is going to switch forwards and or backwards on a track. And then you have these buttons all here, and all of those buttons are to control the partially digital part of your gauge cluster. So you get an 8-inch digital gauge cluster, and then you get an analog speedometer, an analog coolant temperature gauge, and you have your park transmission status stuff down there. So I guess we might as well go throughout this 8-inch screen. So right now it's displaying the fuel stuff on the left. This is like your lane keeping stuff. You got your speedometer, you have the tachometer, that is the ambient exterior temperature, the compass, you got your trip 1 information stuff, the odometer, and then down here you have your fuel range. And again, to go throughout this screen, let's say I wanted to click down, that's going to bring me into my off-road stuff. So basically right now, the off-road stuff is letting me know that the transfer case only has the rear wheels engaged, so we're only in 2-wheel drive. Then you get your tire pressure stuff, you get your configure, your my view, and then if I click this, it's gonna bring me into this. So I can go into my trip/fuel stuff, go into those different screens, or I can go into my off-road stuff. I can go into these screens, so you can go into your pitch and roll stuff. So basically these are your off-road screens. Then you get your power distribution stuff, tire pressure stuff. You got your different gauges like turbo PSI, coolant temperature gauge, transmission fluid temperature, and your battery voltage, turbo boost, oil temperature, transmission temperature, battery voltage. Back out of that, and then you can go into your navigation stuff if you wanted to, also on this screen. I'm gonna go back into that. So you can go into my home, then you get your phone stuff. All of these different things you can pull up on this screen if you wanted to. So very easy to use screen, not like a ton going on the screen, which is a good thing, because it just makes it, you know, very easy to navigate throughout. And again, basically all you have, this is like your back button, menu button, this is to go up and down, and then you have your OK button. So very easy to use. I don't feel like I need to spend too much time on that, because again, it's just easy to use. Now again, also a part of the high package, you get the 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, which includes a sub. So you get your speaker here, again, with the removable door panels, or excuse me, the removable doors. You do not get any speakers on the doors. So basically you get the speakers up throughout here. You also get a little bit of storage space. You could set your phone, maybe a GoPro, gloves, stuff like that up top here. Very user friendly. And then if you open this up, also part of the high package, you get a USB-C port and a USB-A port up top there. And then this is also a spot you could screw in a GoPro, or you can screw in a mount that you can put your phone up top here, so you could be recording and then charging your phone at the same time when you're hitting those off-road trails. So that's pretty cool. And then you just close that right back up. And then coming down to here, this is going to lock your front axle. This is going to lock your rear axle. This is your trail turn assist. So basically, let's say I'm turning the wheel and I'm on a trail and I'm turning the wheel all the way to the right. Basically, when that is on, it is going to brake the inside wheel to try to make the turn sharper. So that is what that does there. You do not get a disconnecting sway bar. I believe you have to get the Badlands. I can't remember which trim level it is, but anyways, then you have your traction on or off, and then your hazard button up top there. Coming down, this is your push button, start button, and then again, as standard, I should say this first. As standard, you get the 12-inch Sync 4 infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto connectivity. However, with the high package, you get built-in navigation. So figured I may mention that. So this is what your screen looks like. I'm just gonna go back into this. So this is your audio screen. You get your different audio sources. These are all your different shortcut buttons. It's gonna shortcut me into Apple CarPlay. So you do get wireless Apple CarPlay again. Then you get your built-in navigation stuff. You have your different apps like the wireless CarPlay, the wireless Android Auto. Then you have your different settings. So this is one setting screen. You can go into your vehicle settings, go throughout all of those things there. go back out of that. Then you have your general settings here. You can go in between all of these different things, back out of that. This is your second screen here. You do get a built-in hotspot. And that is kind of what that looks like there. That's kind of about it. And then you can also go down here where it says features, and you can go into your driver assistance features. It's going to list all the driver assistance features, so you can go in between all of these. So you can pause your screen and take a look at all of those different things there. And then you also have your zone lighting, which I kind of already mentioned. So basically, if you turn zone lighting on, it's basically going to turn on your headlights, your puddle lights, your spotlights on your mirror, which I'll show you that now. So all the zones are on. You can turn all these zones on individually if you'd like. So here at the front, you have your headlights. So this is your front zone. This is the side zone, so it includes the spotlight here, and then it also includes the puddle light down here. And then when you come around to the back, it includes the reverse lights as well as your license plate light. So that is what the zone lighting is. I'll show you this side is also on, obviously. That's what that looks like. I always like to show zone lighting because I think it's a pretty cool feature. And on the F-150s especially, it is actually very useful. Here on the Bronco, it is also useful as well, but I think that's a very cool feature. And it actually is usable if you are camping. And then also, this is a split screen layout. So on this side of the screen, you can see your navigation stuff, you can see your phone stuff, you can see your trip stuff, and then you can also see fuel economy, pitch and roll stuff. What else can you see? The zone lighting stuff, Apple CarPlay stuff, and that's kind of about it. Then you get your ambient exterior temperature there, you get your current time there, and that's kind of about it for that screen. Coming down just a little bit more, volume control knob, tuning control knob. You see that little camera button right there? Again, with the high package, you get a 360-degree view camera system. So that is going to pop up your 360-degree view camera system. 360 cam, that is my front camera. And if I put this into reverse, it is going to show me my backup camera with guidance lines. One thing that's pretty cool about this is you can go in between your different camera zones. So right now, 360 cam, front cam. If I click that, just my front camera, and if I click that, it is my front camera with the two side view mirror cameras. But personally for me, this is the screen right here that I like the best. But then you get your auto stop start stuff on or off. This is going to turn your front and rear parking sensors on or off. Then obviously you have your tuning controls, your play or pause button. You get dual zone climate control down here. One thing I wanted to show you is that the temperature controls read on the gauges themselves. And then you also do get heated front seats as standard. Both get 3 levels of adjustability. So that is what your climate control stack looks like. And then coming down just a little bit more, you get a USB-A port, you get a USB-C port. You see where that blue is? Basically at night, that is so it can illuminate those ports so you can see them easier. And then also a part of the high package, you get a wireless charging pad located down here. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, and it fits down in there no problem. So that is what that looks like. And then you also get this cool little Bronco plaque, and then this is a OPU panel for your passenger. Zooming back out just a little bit, you get 2 cup holders here. This is your gear shift selector. So if you wanted to go into manual mode, you'd have to go all the way back. That is manual mode, M. And now you can control the transmission with these buttons here. So that is to go up on or this is to upshift, this is to downshift. Then you also get a cool little Bronco right there, little Easter egg I find pretty cool. And then here are your mirror controls. Here are all of your controls for all of the windows. So automatic up and down windows at all 4 corners. This button is going to restrict your passenger window privileges. So if I click on that, the front guy can still roll his windows down, but the rear 2 passengers lose their privileges when clicking on that button. And then these are your GOAT modes. So basically your different drive modes. GOAT is for like goes over any terrain. That is what GOAT stands for. So if you wanted to go in between your different GOAT modes, all you gotta do is twist this. So all the way to the left, you have your normal mode. If I twist one to the right, you have your eco mode. Then you have your sport mode. Then you have your slippery mode. Then you got your mud ruts mode, sand mode, and all the way to the right is Baja. By the way, with the Haas 3.0 suspension, this is built for high-speed off-road stuff. So if you wanted to go into sand dunes, this is built to go in the sand dunes. So this suspension is built for high-speed stuff. Pretty cool. Then you have your different 4-wheel drive selections: 2 high, 4 automatic, and 4 low. And then if I click this right here, that is going to put trail control on. Trail control is essentially just like an off-road cruise control system. That's kind of like the easy way to put it, right? That's essentially what the off-road cruise control does. Then this is your center console. Down in here, you get a 12-volt power outlet and a good amount of storage space down in there. I'd say you probably get, I don't know, maybe 10 inches of depth. Coming over to here, that is what this side looks like. You get a lockable lower glove box. Let's see what that glove box looks like. Good amount of storage space in the glove box. This glove box is definitely bigger than the glove box found in the Jeep Wrangler. You also get an OPU panel there. So you get an OPU panel there for the passenger as well as right here. And then the driver just gets one. And also, obviously, the steering wheel. Then you get an auto-dimming rear view mirror. You get all of your different light controls here. So this is driver light, passenger light, this is the dome light for all the interior dome lights. And then this right here is whether you want the lights to turn on or not when you open up the doors, passenger airbag on or off stuff. And then you get 6 different auxiliary switches. So let's say you install 6 individual, you know, off-road lighting systems, you can turn them all on individually with these 6 different switches. I think that is really cool. And let's say, you know, your light bar on top here is auxiliary number 1. When it's lighting up in amber, that is when the lights are on, or whatever you have wired into here has power, right? So when it's amber, that means it has power. And then also part of the high package, you get the universal garage door opener, so you can open up 3 different garage bays with those buttons. And then you get a vanity mirror, 2 vanity lights, a little clip right here you can set your registration. And then let's see, these slide forwards and backwards. And then I also wanted to say, with the hardtop, again, like I mentioned on the exterior, you get these freedom tops. You can take these off individually. Makes it very easy to remove these. The rear part from here back is definitely more cumbersome than these 2 pieces here. But really, that's kind of about it for what we got going on here in these front seats. These front seats are very, very comfortable. Definitely more comfortable than what you get with the Jeep Wrangler. The ride is also more comfortable with this than a Jeep Wrangler. Now I'm going to throw the entire window sticker on screen. You can take a look at the options that this vehicle has, the couple accessories, so on and so forth, but I am just going to highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2024 Bronco Wildtrak is spec'd is $70,760. Definitely expensive for sure. But, you know, you get interior luxury. This thing cruises very well. It's very capable off-road as well. But I do want to show you what we got going on here in the rear seats before moving into the driving portion of the video. One thing about the Bronco, though, is that these mirrors are fixed in position. So sometimes when you open up the door, you're like, oh my God, am I going to slam my window against the mirror? That's what I've done like 3 times here. And that's what I've done many other times reviewing Broncos. I always notice that. I'm like, oh, am I going to hit the mirror? But you never do. This is what the rear door panel looks like. Again, very basic. Again, you do get fold flat second row seats. I'm gonna fold these right back up. And then this is what these seats look like. I'm gonna fold this up. That is what they look like back here. So we're gonna step into these rear seats. Let's see what we got going on back here. So I've got plenty of knee and leg room. I am 5'9" and I am adjusted behind myself. Here's another view of that knee and leg room. And then you also get a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat. You also get a seat back pocket behind the passenger seat. Here are your window controls. Then opening this up, you get a USB-C port and a USB-A port, followed by a 110 volt household power outlet down in there. You get a center fold down armrest that can hold 2 cups. And then one thing about the Bronco, I feel like the Bronco has like a taller roof line than the Jeep Wrangler. At least it feels like that here on the interior. So when it comes to headroom, I've got a ton of headroom. So just very comfortable here in these rear seats. The seats themselves are also just comfortable. I feel like my lumbar back just has like a pillow on it. It's really that comfortable. Then OPU panel here. You get an OPU panel on that side as well. And that's really kind of about it for what we got going on here in these front seats. I guess I could show you my eye level 5'9" from the rear looking out the front. That looks like, but that's about it for what we got going on here in the interior. So we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I'll see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, now on to the driving portion of the video, where we always start our videos here. We go over these speed bumps at 5 miles an hour, and I rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. This being the Bronco, it takes these speed bumps with ease, by the way. Second speed bump, 5 miles an hour, right about there. This thing's gonna get an 8.3 on a scale of 1 to 10. It does very well over those speed bumps. Basically, that makes going over bumps in like this or a Raptor or anything really with these new Ford suspensions, it doesn't really feel like anything. Especially, again, obviously on the off-road variants like the Wildtrak, like the Ford Raptor, especially like the Raptor and the Bronco Raptor. But let's do a little acceleration here. Might hear some rocks flinging. Let's test the brakes. Brakes are pretty good, all things considered. Acceleration is great. Right now we are just in normal mode. In this, I'm going to turn auto stop start off. I'm not a fan of auto stop start. The Bronco rides so much better than a Wrangler. It's not even funny. With the solid front axle, the Wrangler hits bumps and it's just, you feel the bumps, but then also it kind of just like wanders, and with the Wrangler, you kind of just gotta, you know, keep doing this kind of thing because it's very vague at the center point with the Wrangler. So here's another acceleration. And that's just to about 4,000 RPM, and it just accelerates so well. And if you do want a little bit more power, I'm assuming that there's regular in this, because why would they spend extra money putting premium in it? But if you wanted a little bit more power, you could put premium in this and you'd make some additional power. I believe maybe 20 horsepower and about 5 pound-feet of torque, or 15 horsepower, 5 pound-feet of torque. I do know it's 5 pound-feet of torque more with premium, and it's either like 15 or 20 horsepower more with premium compared to regular fuel. So I think that's pretty cool. I like how you have the option. You know, if you want more power, you just got to put premium in it. But it will run all day long with regular in it, no problem. So that is definitely nice. I like how Ford does give you the option of both. You know, that is something that I personally like. And then going back to compare this to the Wrangler, I also feel like the seats in this are much more comfortable. Now, both of them are rather basic when it comes to all these interior controls, but I think that is good for the long term. I think these are going to age better than the new vehicles with the big screens, with everything integrated into the screens. You know, when you go to a vehicle, let's say from like 2010, and you have to navigate throughout the screen, or you don't have to, but you navigate throughout the screen to go into like climate controls, it's not as seamless as if you just, you know, used these controls down here. So I am a big fan of physical controls, and I think Ford and Jeep keeping the physical controls around is very, very good in my personal opinion. Here's a little acceleration. And this one's been optioned with the $1,800 hardtop. And if you're going to be daily driving this, you do any sort of highway driving, I highly recommend you get the hardtop as an option. It's just got more sound deadening, so it's quieter on the interior. However, the soft top is easier, obviously, to take off. You can throw it back, and it's not as cumbersome taking off as if you wanted to take the hardtop off of this. The Freedom tops are easy. The back top is a little bit more cumbersome. But take a listen to what this thing sounds like cruising over some bridge joints. Listen to the wind noise, the road noise at about 55 miles an hour. You can definitely hear those MT tires, but I mean, what do you expect? You know, it's not going to be the most refined on the interior, but it's not terrible. You know what I mean? What do you expect? Most of this part of the vehicle really is removable. The doors and the top, those are two very important pieces when it comes to sound insulation, and both of which are removable. So it's not going to be the quietest ride, but I think that's what you would expect if you're going into buying a Bronco or buying a Wrangler. I would say the Wrangler and the Bronco, when it comes to the wind and road noise wise, both, you know, with hard tops, I'd say they're about on par with each other, you know, at about 60 miles an hour when it comes to the road noise, when it comes to the wind noise. I don't feel like one is louder than the other. However, when it comes to the ride, the Bronco definitely has the better ride, for sure, you know. But with the better ride and that independent front suspension that you get with the Bronco, it does hurt it when it comes to, you know, rock crawling and off-road terrain like that, whereas the Jeep, you know, is going to have the advantage there on the off-road. But really, if you're not off-roading all the time, and this isn't going to be, you know, a dedicated off-roader, then what does that matter, right? I guess maybe if you prefer the looks of the Jeep. I'm going to get around this guy. See that low end torque? Easy to go around, easy passing power. And I'm a big fan of the EcoBoost engines. I feel like they are reliable for the long term. My uncle's got a F-150 with the 2.7. He's got 107,000 miles on it. Not one issue with that engine, knock on wood, wherever the wood may be. So I'm a big proponent of EcoBoost engine, or a big fan of EcoBoost engines. I know some people can't stand them. They're like, cam phasers, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, every vehicle has some sort of issue, right? But really, they're not that bad when it comes to stuff. Now, comparing this to the Bronco Raptor, I know you can't really compare because base price for base price, the Bronco Raptor costs $30,000 more. But with the Bronco Raptor, you get the bigger engine, you get a wider track. So if you want to say you got the Bronco Raptor just to say it, then you could probably get the Bronco Raptor. I would say maybe the Raptor would have better resale. I couldn't guarantee that, but, you know, Raptors in general seem to have pretty good resale values when it comes to F-150s anyway, from what I've seen. So anyways, very comfortable ride. The sound system with the Bang & Olufsen sound system that you get with the high package sounds great. I'm with the lane keeping assist on, and I just turned it off. I'm not a fan of lane keep assist. You know, it bounces you in between the lane. You can feel it in the steering wheel. I want to steer on my own. But anyway, back to the Bang & Olufsen sound system. It sounds great, definitely better than the standard sound system. And personally for me, I would probably have to get to the high package if I was going to get a Wildtrak. I know it is expensive, but it is worth it. You know what I mean? You get pretty much a fully loaded vehicle when you get the high package. So to me, it is worth it. I know to some people it may not be, but again, just in my personal opinion, it is an option you can skip. It's not necessary, but I do like the amenities that do come with the high package. So overall, it's a very, very comfortable ride. It cruises great. The seats are comfortable. Sound system is good. Again, that does come with a caveat because this one does have the upgraded sound system. So that's why I said that it is a great sound system. There's another azure gray Bronco over there. Looks like an Outer Banks. So it's just a great vehicle. And if you're comparing the Jeep Wrangler to the Ford Bronco, the Bronco is going to ride better on the streets for sure. But if you're going solely off-roading, off-roader for off-roader, the Wrangler has the advantage there. And then when it comes to the cool factor, both of which are cool in my personal opinion, and that all comes down to personal preference really at that point. So Bronco, the better on-road daily driver in my personal opinion. But yeah, that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. So if you enjoyed the video, if you learned anything from this video, please take a second to give it a thumbs up, to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. You would help me reach my goal, and honestly, you know, that helps me achieve my dream. So I'd appreciate it if you do those three things. But again, that is it for today's video. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.